Welcome to Backyard Blindfolds 2. I'm Kelly.
I'm Rebecca. And we're back on this series of running down a
Yes,
dream, right?
running
So,
down a dream, and we said after the ants,
yes,
automatic negative thoughts.
automatic negative thinking, yes.
Yes, that we would talk about PMES,
Yes. So, you want to explain to them what that is?
physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self. How are you taking care of yourself?
Yes. So, today we're going to go into just the basics of what that is. Like, what are some examples and how you can do it, and maybe some examples of. Well, for example, we recently went through a big event, so we had to come home and kind of decompress and take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
So, should we start with some physical activities that are part of the self-care routine that you're going to want to probably implement to keep yourself able to run down your dream?
Yes, uh, we've mentioned this several times, I think.
Yeah.
But walking, we walk.
We're big
So
walkers
we
and
just got back
talkers.
from a walk.
Yeah, we
and,
just did.
And so that I think is an important one, just as a base level.
Yes.
And then you have certain goals, and I have certain goals physically.
Yes.
So I'm a lifelong practitioner of the martial arts. So if I do my forms every once in a while, I would say daily, but that hasn't been the case for a very long time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
stretch.
And I put up a pad up in the spring house, and so punch them a little bit.
Yeah.
So those kinds of activities for me will help to center. It's like a starting point that helps my brain to center itself.
Yes.
And to get connected with my body.
Mm-hmm.
So walking and talking with you is wonderful because we got this great landscape.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
The sun's on us, and so we get those that dump of
endorphins and serotonin,
endorphins, and the vitamin D's up and all that stuff, right?
Right.
But then for me specifically, if I go and say I swing the kettlebell, and then I do a couple of forms, and then I hit the bag,
Yeah.
that leads to stretching, and it leads to side to sides, sort of like a squat.
Yeah.
And it invigorates me. It gives me 15 to 20 to 30 minutes of connection with my body.
Yeah.
I feel strong, I feel the strength, and all that translates into the work, and it translates into the relationship.
Yes.
So on your end,
well, for me, the physical, I consider eating is a really big deal to me.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about food.
Yeah, Kelly's a really great cook, so I typically, if I wasn't with someone who was, I would eat a lot less and sporadically, and so affects your blood sugar, affects your mood. We all get hangry. So eating is a big deal for me. It's also another time when you can share things or talk about your ideas or your progress of your day. Sleep is a big one. So we kind of have played with a variety of things for our sleep routine. We were talking about these new alpha stem electromagnetic therapy.
Yes.
So we just tried those this week, thanks to Kelly's son, and it had an effect.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of surprised. So doing things like that, it could be meditation. We've done affirmations, and a lot of this we've spoken to. I need the walk as well, and what I notice is clearing out my mind, because we get so up in our heads. It's a way to pull yourself back into your body and to your surroundings. And back to what you said, like, it's very grounding. So that was some of the physical things we talked about. We go every other week to mineral soaks because we live where there's mineral hot springs. That's another ritual or form of self-care that we do that has great effect. We went last night, slept like a dog. It was great, right?
A lazy dog.
Yeah. So we were talking about the importance too. Like, you want to, like to feel invigorated. I think that was a good term to use, because the physical, by taking care of your physical, it then leads you right into what? The mental.
Yes.
So let's go into mental. Mindset focus to controllable items, reading soulful books. What else did you have for the mental? Because we talked about individual projects.
Well, our work is probably the most cerebral. Although that probably for you may not feel like it's so cerebral.
It does.
But I think when you
it's theory.
when you take a step back, and when you're I don't know how.
Assessing it.
Yeah, because it seems like you just sort of flow through it, and then
Yeah, I'm thinking.
okay,
Yeah.
so you are okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so that's a big one. But then also, you do also. We got these extracurricular thinkings.
Okay.
So I like space,
Oh, I
like
have that right here.
outer space,
It says, wait, where it was?
space
Oh, I
news.
said reading science, but Kelly has what I call Kelly Space News. And usually he's up a couple hours before me in the morning and he's had time to read
Space news.
Space News.
Yeah, space news, physics,
Yeah.
quantum physics, all this kind of stuff. Try and it's
And why is that self-care, would you say? Like,
well, it's totally stimulating. Like it stretches. I don't have a science background,
right.
and I don't particularly think I have a science brain. but 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 trying to
He sure
understand.
sounds like it though in
Yeah,
the
well,
morning.
I play a lawyer on TV.
I just drink my coffee like,
Yeah,
okay.
trying to understand the language and the theories around the physics
Yeah.
of, in this case, space. I find it absolutely fascinating
Mm-hmm.
to just try to stretch my brain to be able to
Sure.
understand it. But then if you do this over a time period,
Yes.
so I've been doing this for years.
I was gonna say a long time.
You kind of
Pick up some stuff,
you
right?
pick some stuff up, and you see the like this doesn't connect to what they said last year. So last year they were saying this, and this year they're saying that. So why the disconnect? Why is there advancement, or does anybody know what the hell they're talking about? That's why I love space news, because nobody knows.
So it's inciting your critical thinking.
Yeah.
It's stretching your knowledge base.
Right.
What else would you say it's doing? I'm like looking at my notes.
Well, it's.
I feel like you can then apply it to other things like creative problem solving or connecting the dots, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
So what about when people say like crossword puzzles?
Yeah.
Good for stimulating your brain.
They probably are. It's not my thing.
Yeah. Me either.
So I don't know. I like, so right now I'm working on another book.
Yes.
And it takes place at sea, or at least on the sea.
Yeah.
And it has a particular thing around commercial fishing. So
you have to go research.
I'm learning a lot about commercial fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most of that's not even going to hit the book, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, it feels like
the context,
it
right?
provides context for that character in my brain. Like that character as his fictitious character in my brain, he knows his ship. He knows
right
all the things and the components and what they do and how they operate and how long he can be at sea and where in the ocean he's fishing for this particular species, on and on and on, all that kind of stuff. The cycles of when when the fishing season is.
Yes.
Where the fish are here, are they here? That kind of thing.
Right. So basically, you would be great at Jeopardy, probably.
Eventually,
because of your writing career.
Yeah.
But tell me, so if we don't do so, what's the opposite of not doing the self-care mentally or physically? I mean, what I'm trying to show here, and probably you as well, I don't want to speak for you, but it's the domino effect of doing things or not doing things.
Yes. So I think the opposite effect is you're ingesting somebody else's something. So
programming, like
I mean, they call it television programming for a reason, right? Because they're trying to program you into something,
right?
Whatever that is.
Buy more
shit. Yeah. So instead of going to watch a movie, instead of playing a video game, instead of watching programming, which you and I don't watch TV,
right?
I wax.
Well, I feel like if you're not, so curiosity is a big thing for pursuing anything in a dream, and I think having a healthy and exciting life. If you're not curious, if you're not walking in wonder, if you're not stimulated, you're not curious and finding something out. It's that you get in a rut of thinking. I find people think like they get onto politics very often because it's easy, because it's very programmed, and then they just repeat like sound bites and the stuff. It's not from them, it's from what they've ingested. And then everyone's depressed, supposedly, and so on and so forth. And then your endorphins aren't going, and then you're not communicating, you're not being nurtured, you're not exercising. I mean, no wonder you feel like a big old blob drinking
Well,
your big gulp. It's like
yeah.
you've got to keep yourself lean and stimulated and curious, whether it's physical or mental.
And I find that because you're interested in a number of things
Mm.
and working on multiple things at one time,
Yes.
when I come across an article, like I sent you an article the other
You sent me
day,
3.
yeah, 3, but one on the origin of lightning.
Yes.
Like, guess what? We don't know how it happens. That's the, and you would think that they'd already know, but this
Right.
this is kind of new. It's like in my little science area. But you have a fascination with lightning also,
Yes.
and then we had this incredible lightning storm that we saw about a month and a half
Oh
ago.
my God. It was crazy.
But it has some application to another project you're working on.
Yep.
That you've been working on for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I thought, oh well, that's kind of, again, this stuff may not end up in the actual final work product that you're doing,
but it will, because it lends itself to, like, for what I'm working on, like the metaphor of lightning.
Yes.
So this knowledge, then you think about, I immediately think Fleetwood Mac lyric, you know, lightning like only strikes once or not twice or something like that. I forget. But it makes me start thinking of all the places lightning is. Then I'm very stimulated. I'm curious. I'm trying to connect dots. It makes, like, synchronicity in your life, I think, often makes it feel magical and whole. I don't know. And I really like that feeling. So being curious, and I guess this is long and short, or a long way of saying something I could say shorter, is that the physical and mental then are going to connect to the emotional and spiritual. And this is how you have a whole self-care routine. It's a way of life. And so, I mean, I don't want to segue entirely, but when you go through trying times, and here we all go into the holiday season, a lot of people are going to be meeting up with their family, friends, and it's not always great. And sometimes dysfunctional, or you're the in-laws, or whatever the thing is. Or you're home by yourself and you're bummed about it. But those trying times are the times, I think, if you implement one thing out of each category, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and you check yourself, you will fly through it with so much more grace and ease than you would expect. You might still need recovery time, like a couple of days to get over, like what your aunt said to your grandfather or whatever happens. Right. But you're feeding yourself, and this is the thing. We don't just need food and calories. We need connection, and we need nurturing, and we need, like, I just read a John O'Donohue book, and it's like every time I read that man's writings, it's like soul food for me. Like, I read it, I feel related to, and it feeds me on the spiritual end. So should we segue then into emotions? Because we talked about how to decompress, process, and then restore emotionally after something like a big event or the holidays.
Yeah, so we talked about how life does happen, and in our little bubble we can really curate our days.
Yes.
But then eventually you have to go do something, you know.
Yeah.
And
because
because these holidays are coming up, you can get derailed in this self-care practice.
Because you're not expecting it, because you haven't had to put it to the test.
Well, and you might be traveling out of town and you're staying in a different place. You don't have your same routine.
Right.
And so you go 3 or 4 days and you haven't had your walk and you haven't had your other stuff.
Yeah.
So
it gets very hard.
Yeah. So it's getting back. How do you get back to it? And I think the emotional, I think you see the effects of getting knocked off the routine. I think emotionally and physically probably first.
I think so
rather
too.
than mentally and spiritually. Right?
I think so too.
So in this emotional emotional area, what is that to you and I?
What do you mean?
Well, how do we define emotional? Because
for me, there's
blended,
peace. You know? I mean, it's like, so if emotionally, I think, I don't know what it is, but I do know that, like, I need to name how I'm feeling. I need to write it in my journal. It's usually negativity. Like, if I feel pissed off, or I want to eat someone's lunch, or I didn't like how something went, or I thought someone was being really mean or cruel, I have to write it out in my journal. It's a way of me decompressing and letting that go. And because I will ruminate on things when I can't fix it. So I can't fix that. That person's who they are. That already happened. I made my statements or whatever. I was polite enough or whatever, but I'm pissed. Then I have to do something with it. So naming it, writing it down, go punch your punching bag, go for a long walk and talk it out with you. I don't think I'm answering your question, but for me, there's like emotions, it's important to process. Once I get the negative ones placed, then I like to think about how great you were at that event, or how grateful I am that, so and so was there to give me a hug or go dance with me or whatever the thing is. So that's how I kind of balance it with the negative and the positive. I don't know if that's one, answering your question, two, really making sense, but
Well, the emotional is difficult for me because I have two, right? Happy and sad,
well, he says that,
and
but he's not like that anymore, actually.
getting better.
Yeah, he's been hanging out with me for years. So it's like, and I'm not even great at it. I mean, I have like five, you have two. So we're going for 10 each.
Okay. So checking in with that,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it reflects so much in the body.
Okay.
So do I feel like
Closed.
closed? Do I feel open?
Uh-huh.
Does my lower back hurt? Do I feel like moving? Do I
Okay.
feel like I have vigor in my body? When I
Right.
don't, that's when I have to go check one of the two emotions to see what's going on with
Right.
me.
So then what
And
do you
so
do once, like, so let's say you knew you had a bad emotion and you knew you had a good emotion? What do you do with either of those two sorts of groupings?
the happy emotions, I like to move around.
Yeah.
So I like to be extra physical, if you will. Like I
Okay.
can't sit still. I gotta go, go, go.
Okay.
On the sad, if I know that, and sad, let's just put all that category of negative emotions because there are more than two. Um, is I need to force myself to move a little bit
Yeah.
so I can shake loose and kind of separate, uh, find other emotions. Am I really more? Am I frustrated?
Mm.
Am I hurt in some way? Am
Mm-hmm.
I disappointed in myself or others? So once I move a little bit,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's as easy as go do a simple form, hit the bag 100 times. It's some little trigger. Could be 25 push-ups,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I can think like I have access to the content that's in me that is bound up. It's
Mm-hmm.
bound up because it has nowhere to go. So that's
Yeah.
that's the childhood is there's no way, there's no outlet for it.
Mm.
And so for me it takes, um, I have to tell myself, go do something, go
Okay.
move, go get a shovel and just move some dirt.
Yeah.
It could be like that. It could be just that.
Mm.
Um, but if I don't, I won't be able to get. It's like my mind is locked,
Okay.
and the only way it can unlock my emotional content, my heart is locked, and my access to my emotional side is locked until there is some exertion of some sorts.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I think in a way that's the processing of the emotion. So I think it's Vandercook. I forgot the guy's name from the Body Keep Score, but
Mm.
he talks about how we hold traumas in our body or experiences and whatnot. So a way of processing them is through movement, and he talks about yoga and some
Mm.
other martial arts and whatnot. But I think that's a big thing. But you make me immediately think about how many people feel closed, negative, unphysical, not like moving, paralyzed, downtrodden, and whatnot when they, or numb even, go through these situations. So I think tapping into your emotions and trying to name them, and then having an antidote for, or a program of activity for each person and their own way of processing is a good idea, because I think that helps you emotionally process and get through some things. It seems
Yeah,
like.
and I think on the emotional side, if you've had some trauma, and again, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. And when you come back from those, you're going to need to recover. Um, is
Well,
an affirmation. I
yeah.
mean, that's really is what is the only thing that really sort of pulls me beyond where. So there's some assessment, there's some rationale, but at the end of the day, am I okay with who I am?
Mm-hmm.
That's at the end of the day. That's the whole thing. And then we said yesterday, in fact, we had been a couple of days on one particular
Topic.
topic, and it, as we're coming down the hill, it's just like, look, everything is exactly
Like it's
the
supposed to
way
be.
it's
Yeah.
supposed to be,
Yeah.
and it is all the time, every time.
Right.
It's exactly how it's supposed to
And
be.
that's a great affirmation. Like everything right now is just as it needs to be. I think that I was glad you said that. The last thing I'll say on the emotional front that's an easy piece of the puzzle I think to miss is creative expression. So I think, if you're feeling frustrated, I know it sounds dorky, but you get your watercolors out and just doodle and express yourself, or throw clay pots, whatever the thing is.
Write a poem.
Write a poem. Yeah. Yeah. And tell it to somebody, whatever. Yeah. I think that's important. So creative expression, I would also throw in there. And creativity for me segues right into spirituality. Mm-hmm. So should we hit that one next?
Let's hit it.
Okay. Do you have some ideas on it? Because I feel like that was the one we did not go into on our notes.
Yeah, because it's a tough one, because you're so
it's very different.
I think we would probably say of the other person that they're very spiritual, on a spiritual journey, if you will.
Yeah.
And that, I think that spiritual journey really is about a wholeness. Like, how do you get to a wholeness? And that's in connection to the world around us. It's connection to each other. It's connection to ourselves.
Yeah.
So how do we be whole? How do we constantly move towards that direction? It's hard then to say that and have a specific set of practices that you're employing on a regular basis.
But what would yours be for spirituality? If you're doing your self-care for spirituality, what is it for you?
Well, we're reading good books.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're learning from other people. Mm-hmm. I think that's important.
Yes.
So John
O'Donohue. Yeah.
Is the latest one, and that's really good. I've got a couple of things that I tap into more in the Zen practices and Buddhist practices, things that pop up.
What was the practice we did for a while? We did meditation and the Tao.
Then the Tao, yeah.
Yeah, we studied the Tao for a bit, and then we would meditate and just take one at a time. That was fun, mm-hmm. A fun practice.
Yeah, and I think my my martial arts practice has a spiritual component to it, and so if I'm doing my forms, I'm practicing my meditation. But really, I think when it's all said and done, is where we are right now. You can feel the breeze.
Yeah.
The birds have been mucking about over here.
Yeah, they are.
Reeds.
The reeds, yeah.
We got a couple of ducks swimming around. The frogs are doing their thing. And, but when we're out here, like we are right now, there is something about that.
Nature's grandeur definitely makes me feel small and cared for by it. Mm-hmm. I also think I felt I really worked my spirituality at the last big event we were at, because it was a little trying at times, and so to think compassionately and positively and overall try and feel good about everything there, rather than judgmental or whatever. I mean, there were definitely moments, but I think practicing your spirituality in a moment of heat, and pressure is growth. I'm not saying I'm perfect at all, but that I could have well-wishing, where I wouldn't have expected my old self would not have even been there or whatever, right? Like you're able to try and walk the walk of your spirituality. So what's going to help you do that? To me too, in the morning, I've said this before, like I take a few minutes to say some affirmations and positive things I want to do that day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we've been trying to, think positive or read something positive, or, say goofy goofs to each other. And we don't even try, we do it. I mean, it's like we've kind of made it the practice, which is to lean harder and harder into positivity, but allow for negativity, and that's what I was going to ask you to talk about, was the antinomy, which is what we named our publishing company. But what we said today when we were walking, I thought that was great, and I think it kind of sums up
Yeah, that
the whole thing.
you have to be able to hold two truths that are completely opposite
Yes.
within yourself, because how are you whole without that?
Right. So I always am a proponent of range. If you don't know your dark side, how are you going to know your light side? And it's in equal measure. Like, um, you have to get comfortable with the fact that you're imperfect and that you get angry and that you're pissed off and you say cuss words and you want to throw things at people sometimes. Those are normal human reactions, and anger is one of those ones that people act like you're not even allowed to have it now, like somehow it's not emotional regulation. No, it's completely normal to get angry. It's if you go shoot people, it's not okay, but it's okay to have an emotion. These other things we talk about with the self-care practice, with the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, those are to help you with your regulation and your processing and making yourself a whole person.
And I think it also, so one of the things I find myself doing after we've had time in the world
Mm-hmm.
is, uh, does the does my belief about myself still
Hold.
hold?
Mm.
Do I still believe this about who I am?
Mm-hmm.
And
Do you have an example of one?
well, if I get angry, so if I
Okay.
get angry, if I'm yeah, so if I'm feeling heightened,
Yeah.
um, what is that? What information is that bringing into my belief
Yeah.
system?
Very good
And
question.
yeah, and am I yeah, it's yeah, what's the implication of that to your belief of about who you are?
Yeah. And I think, like, for me, like, I've always been okay with temper. I mean, I've had a bad temper at different times. So even if I get challenged on that notion, being very grounded and okay with who you are, I think is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing to realize out in the world and through this process. When you're running down a dream, when you're in an environment with a bunch of people, I think you have to decide what your boundaries are and what is okay for you. And what you stand for, what is good self-care to you, what is healthy to you, and we all don't have the same definition.
And I think that if your belief about who you are is predicated on what somebody else believes about you,
Mm,
you're going to miss the mark, because they're never going to believe
the same
the
thing as you.
same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. And sometimes you have to be the villain in somebody else's story.
I That is a great point. I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always say the Paul Newman quote: if you're not hated by someone, you're not doing something right. Just because if you're a pleasure to everyone, you're probably living at half mast. Like, there's,
Yeah.
what
And
do
I
you
think
stand for if everyone likes you?
yeah, and
Nothing.
I think even in that Paul Newman quote, uh, there is the very real possibility that even if everybody's smiling at you, you still are the villain in somebody's story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because of
it's
their own issues. What if they have
right.
no self-esteem and they're just envious? I mean, they don't like how solid you seem, and so they're insecure and they cause problems and they think you're the villain. Well, I mean, are you gonna worry about that level of a person spiritually thinking crappy things about you? No. Like,
No, I think and again, you might get to a point where you're not even thinking about that because the
yeah, you just
I
gotta
mean your
keep it.
reality is right here. It really is. It is right here.
And I think that's the thing, giving everyone the grace to have their own reality.
Yeah.
You can debate it. I think a lot of people take things very personally, but you can debate it, but everybody gets to have theirs.
And everybody gets to have their story and make like if we were all the same, how boring that would be.
It's true. It's
It's like
true.
having no color in the world.
Right.
So I mean, we would just want everybody to be the most exaggerated version of who they are, right? Because that
I don't
makes
know
it
if I'd say
fun.
everybody, but
Well,
yeah,
but then it's
I
just,
know.
but they're super careful, right? I mean, you love reading literature and
I do,
fiction,
and I love a
and it's
villain. I
yeah, and
mean,
it's those
I do.
exact. I mean, everybody's exaggerated in literature, right? So
Yeah,
it's these exaggerated for all exaggerated characters. What a colorful world it would be.
it's true. It's very
Yeah,
true. So we hope, like, this, just instigating the idea of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual practice of self-care might help you through the holidays.
yeah,
It might help you ground yourself every day, and it might help you through running down a dream, any big event.
yep.
All right.
Great.
Well, we'll see you next time with our tips for running down a dream. I have a feeling it's going to get funny from here.
I
So,
love it.
all right. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. Our Blindfolds2. I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Kelly.
He's asleep. So,
one more time.
Okay. Welcome to Backyard Blindfolds2.
No.
Oh, no.
Pause.
Okay.